My dad and I stopped talking over something small, but when I found out what he did after I left, I realized he'd been saying, "I love you," in his own way all along. My dad isn't the type to say, "I love you." He's the kind of man who fixes your broken chair instead of asking how you've been. The kind who wakes up early to shovel the driveway so you won't slip, but never says goodbye when you leave. And for most of my life, that was fine. I understood him. Until I didn't. When I told him I was quitting my job to start freelancing, he looked at me like I'd lost my mind. He said, "You work too hard to throw it away." I told him it wasn't throwing it away, it was finally doing something for myself. We went back and forth until he finally muttered, "You'll understand when you grow up." I said, "Maybe you'd understand if you ever listened." It was the first time I'd ever raised my voice at him, and the last time we spoke for months. At first I told myself I didn't care. I convinced myself that he'd never really seen me anyway, but every time I drove past our street I'd slow down, like a part of me was waiting for him to call. Then one night, Mom texted me, "Your dad found your old art supplies. Do you want them?" It caught me off guard. I hadn't painted in years. Not since college, when Dad told me art wasn't a real plan. Still, something in me wanted to see them again, so that weekend, I drove home. When I walked through the door, it was awkward at first. He nodded, said a quiet, "Hey," then went back to watching the game. Mom tried to fill the silence, talking about dinner, the weather, anything to ease the tension. After everyone went to bed, I walked out to the garage. The air smelled like sawdust and motor oil, the same as it always had. But on the workbench, my old canvases were lined up like they'd been waiting for me. Next to them sat brand new brushes and unopened tubes of paint. And taped to one of the canvases was a small note, written in his messy handwriting. "I don't get your choices, but I'm proud you're brave enough to make them." I just stood there staring at it. This man, who never said, "I'm proud of you," never said, "I love you," had spent hours cleaning those canvases. He didn't tell me. He just did it. I started crying quietly, and I don't think I'd ever cried like that in front of him before. The next morning, he made 2 cups of coffee and slid one toward me at the kitchen table. We didn't talk about the fight. We didn't talk about the note. But when I said, "I think I'll stay another day," he smiled just a little and said, "Good." And somehow, that one word said everything we'd never been able to.